The story begins with Xiao Xiao returning from buying dresses with her friend to attend the birthday of Xu Yang, the boy she liked in high school. She decides to give him the camera she used in school because it had several videos of both of them. However, at the party, she learns that Xu Yang has a girlfriend and considers it no longer appropriate to give him the camera. Nevertheless, her friend tells her that the camera had been placed with the other gifts. Xiao Xiao tries to take it, but a classmate sees her and accuses her of being a thief. She quickly explains the misunderstanding and greets Xu Yang, but her classmate snatches the gift from her, and she tries to take it back when she falls and ends up traveling 10 years into the past. She appears in school with the camera tape, which is taken by Xu Yang, who asks her if she summoned him to give him that. However, upon seeing that she is at school, she thinks it's a dream, so she decides to take the opportunity and kisses Xu Yang on the cheek, leaving him stunned. This is seen by their teacher, who takes them to the principal's office and scolds them severely. Still, Xiao Xiao continues to believe it's a dream, so she jumps out the window to wake up, but she doesn't succeed. On the contrary, she ends up with a hurt foot and realizes that she really did travel to the past. Just then, Xu Yang comes to see how she is and asks her why she kissed him in the hallway. She replies that she's been under a lot of stress lately and did it without thinking. But she also tells him that if he wants to, he can return the kiss, leaving him stunned again. Later, he accompanies her home, and Xiao Xiao can't stop thinking about how to return to the future. Just then, she remembers that before traveling to the past, she managed to grab the camera, so she quickly goes home looking for the object, but out of nowhere, she appears at school. Surprised, she tries to leave but appears in the classroom. So she tries to leave again, but she appears in the classroom again. 5 days pass in which she can't leave the school until she meets Xu Yang. While she talks to him, she manages to leave. So once he leaves, she decides to go home, but she appears at the school again. She then realizes that she can only move from the place if Xu Yang is by her side. So in the end, she takes him to her house with the excuse of lending him some books. She asks him to wait in the living room and quickly goes to her room where she finally finds the camera. However, when she turns it on, nothing changes. Disappointed, she screams. And Xu Yang thinks it's because she can't find the books. So he tells her not to worry and leaves. Because of this, Xiao Xiao appears in the classroom, and tired of the scenery changing every time Xu Yang moves away from her, she decides to become his girlfriend so that he will always be by her side. So she ends up confessing that she likes him, but he ends up rejecting her. Since her plan doesn't work, Xiao Xiao decides to sit next to Xu Yang. So she asks a classmate to switch seats with her in exchange for carrying his things. This way, she ends up sitting next to Xu Yang, but at the exit, the classmate who switched with her makes fun of her. Seeing this, Xu Yang helps her carry the things and defends her. Afterward, they both leave together, and Xu Yang asks her why she is always by his side, to which she responds with the truth, and ends up confessing that she comes from the future, and that every time she separates from him, she appears in a new place. Obviously, Xu Yang doesn't believe her, and proposes 3 rules of coexistence. Number 1, don't move his things. 2, don't get too close to him. And 3, don't say weird things. Annoyed, she tells him that he shouldn't interfere in her business either. Minutes later, the teacher asks Xiao Xiao to recite a poem, but since she doesn't remember it, she reads it from Xu Yang's book. He closes his book, and annoyed, she scolds him for not helping her. He reminds her that he asked her not to interfere in his affairs. Angry, she puts a piece of paper on his back, but he notices it, and during the exam, he confiscates her plagiarism as an act of revenge. The next day, Xu Yang arrives late with a dirty shirt, so Xiao Xiao tries to clean it with a cloth, but he tells her not to touch him and goes to the bathroom. Because of this, she thinks he is a picky person and starts to regret having been in love with him. However, in the bathroom, we see that Xu Yang has a large wound on his shoulder. At the exit, Xiao Xiao meets a man who introduces himself as Xu Yang's father. However, when Xu Yang sees him, he completely ignores him. Since Xiao Xiao comes from the future, She knows the things that will happen in the past, including that Xu Yang will soon have an accident in the cafeteria, so she warns him to be careful. However, he doesn't believe her, and she leaves angrily. However, upon arriving, they realize that their tickets were stolen on the bus. Sad, Xiao Xiao goes to sit next to Xu Yang, who plays the music of Xiao Xiao's favorite band and shares his headphones with her so that she feels like she's at the concert, which moves her. The next day, Xiao Xiao learns that Xu Yang went to an academy and realizes that even though he is not by her side, the scenery doesn't change. So she goes looking for him. For his part, Xu Yang looks at a group photo he has with Xiao Xiao. At the exit, he meets her, and she helps him carry his books and asks him if he did anything different that day, to which he replies no. Just then, she sees the photo and thinks he's been looking at Ming Ran, as in the future, she will be his girlfriend. However, Xu Yang tells her that he was looking at another person, and Xiao Xiao gets excited believing he is talking about her. So she decides to put 2 of her photos in Xu Yang's book. Nevertheless, he lends his book to a classmate who, upon seeing the photos, thinks they are a couple and starts teasing them. Because of this, Xiao Xiao thinks that Xu Yang will get angry with her, so she tells him that she will no longer cause him any more problems and asks him to forget the time she confessed to him. But to her surprise, this makes Xu Yang sad. Just then, Meng Ran tells her that they have to clean together. While they are cleaning, Xiao Xiao notices that Meng Ran stole something. At the exit, Meng Ran sends a group of bullies to tell Xiao Xiao not to dare to reveal what she saw. Fearful of being beaten, Xiao Xiao tells them that she is very close to a boy named Zilin. She remembers that he used to be very feared at school. Frightened, the bullies believe she is Zilin's girlfriend and let her go. However, the next day, some boys tell her that Zilin wants to talk to her and take her to a classroom where Zilin is. He asks her to run errands for him for a week in compensation for having said that she was his girlfriend. On the other hand, Xu Yang hears that some boys took Xiao Xiao and quickly goes to look for her. Xiao Xiao tells Zilin that she finds it a bit funny and that she will think about his request. When Xu Yang arrives worried, Zilin leaves. However, days later, Xiao Xiao and Zilin meet again in the principal's office. It turns out that she had hit a classmate named Xu Yang and now had to write a letter of apology. However, Xiao Xiao refuses and says that Xu Yang used to bother another classmate named Wang. So she asked the teacher to talk to Xu Yang, but since the teacher didn't do anything, she taught Xu Yang a lesson, and in the end, he promised not to bother Wang again. Upon hearing this, Xie Lin applauds Xiao Xiao, but annoyed, the teacher orders both of them to stand outside as punishment. There, Xie Lin asks her why she helped Wang, to which she replies that she did it because she knows that in the future, Wang would drop out of school because of Xu Yang if she didn't stop him. Upon hearing this, Xie Lin asks her how she knows, and she replies that she comes from the future. To her surprise, Xie Lin thinks this is great and asks her to be friends. However, he also reminds her of the errands and asks her to buy him soft drinks, which Xu Yang hears. Xu Yang talks to the teacher so that they can remove Xiao Xiao's punishment. Alone, Xu Yang asks Xiao Xiao if Zilin is harassing her, to which she replies no, and tells him that Zilin and she made an equal deal. Worried, Xu Yang asks his classmate what it means when a girl obeys a boy with whom she has an equal deal, to which his classmate replies that it must be love. Xu Yang doesn't believe that Xiao Xiao likes Zilin, but he starts to think the opposite when she tells him that Zilin came to see her and that she will meet with him. Outside, Zilin asks Xiao Xiao to bring him food to school, and Xiao Xiao tells him that he only had to call to let her know. He replies that he only came because he was nearby. However, before leaving, he gives her a yogurt, which makes her happy because it's her favorite. The next day, Xiao Xiao gives him the food that Zilin asked for, and Xu Yang gets jealous when he sees that they are close. At the end of class, Zilin tells Xiao Xiao that he likes a girl, but has no experience in dating and needs her help. So he tells her that she won't have to run any more errands for him if she agrees to go on a date with him. In the end, Xiao Xiao accepts because it seems like a good deal, and they both agree to meet on the weekend. Xiao Xiao starts looking for an outfit for the date and tells Xu Yang that she will go out with Xie Lin, which makes him jealous. The day of the date arrives, and in the end, Xu Yang decides to go looking for Xiao Xiao. However, on the way, he runs into Meng Ran, who asks him to accompany her to buy some books. Just then, Meng Ran sees Xiao Xiao and Xie Lin and tells Xu Yang that Xiao Xiao declared that she was Xie Lin's girlfriend, which makes Xu Yang jealous. Seconds later, Xiao Xiao sees them and asks them what they are doing there, to which Meng Ran replies that they came for books and asks her if she wants to join them. But coldly, Xu Yang replies that it's not necessary and leaves. Upon arriving home, Xiao Xiao finds Xu Yang in the living room and realizes that he was waiting for her, which moves her. The next day, Xu Yang leaves for school early, but leaves breakfast served for Xiao Xiao, who, upon seeing the date, remembers that it is Xu Yang's birthday. However, when it's time to leave, she leaves the classroom in a hurry with Xie Lin, so Xu Yang thinks they are going on another date and gets sad. Hours later, he arrives home where he receives a call from his mother, who wishes him a happy birthday. Minutes later, he receives another call, but this time from Xiao Xiao, who asks him to open the door. When he does, he is pleasantly surprised to see Xiao Xiao with a cake, singing happy birthday to him, a gesture that makes his heart happy. Xiao Xiao gives him a gift, and Xu Yang thanks her for the gesture. Back in his room, he can't stop smiling. Happy. The next day, Xiao Xiao realizes that her diary is missing and stays at home for a while to look for it. For his part, Xu Yang arrives at school where he finds some boys reading Xiao Xiao's diary and making fun of her for having written that she traveled in time. Angry, he takes the diary from them and scolds them. However, a boy named Xu Yang makes fun of her when he sees her arrive. So, annoyed, Xie Lin gives the boy a beating. On the other hand, Xu Yang gives her diary back to Xiao Xiao, who ends up being called to the principal's office where the teacher asks her if she is dating Xie Lin, because Xu Yang had said that Xie Lin hit the other boy to defend Xiao Xiao. However, Xie Lin tells the teacher that he likes another girl and that he hit the other boy for no reason. At the exit, Xie Lin asks Xiao Xiao if she likes Xu Yang, to which she replies yes, which breaks Xie Lin's heart. But even so, he wishes that her love is reciprocated and leaves the place sadly. Minutes later, Xu Yang arrives and tells Xiao Xiao that at first he didn't believe her when she said she traveled in time, but now he wants to believe everything. Therefore, on the way home, he asks her if she wants to go back to her time. And although she secretly wishes to stay, in the end, she doesn't answer. So Xu Yang interprets her silence as a yes and tells her that he will help her go back. The next day, Xu Yang tells Xiao Xiao that they should go to the last place she was before traveling. But upon arriving, they are surprised to find that this place had not yet been built. So Xu Yang asks her what she ate or drank before traveling, and she replies that it was a cocktail, so they go to buy one. However, once at home, she drinks the cocktail and nothing happens. So she goes online to do some research, where some comments say that kisses can cause time travel. And although at first she doesn't believe it, seeing Xu Yang asleep, she gives him a kiss on the cheek. But in the end, nothing happens. Minutes later, she also falls asleep. And when Xu Yang wakes up, he carries her to the bed and covers her with a blanket. There, he remembers that before Xiao Xiao kissed him at school, he took the tape she had in her hand. So he looks for the tape and is about to put it in the camera. But in the end, he doesn't do it for fear that Xiao Xiao will leave. Still, the next day, he tells Xiao Xiao about the tape and gives it to her. But she also doesn't put the tape in and tells Xu Yang that she wants to stay. Then they both go for a walk when suddenly Xiao Xiao's nose bleeds and she starts to have a fever. Worried, Xu Yang takes her home where he delicately takes care of her. The next day, a show is held in the classroom, and this time Xiao Xiao participates, something she didn't do in the past. However, despite having a good time, in the end she faints. So worried, Xu Yang takes her to the nurse's office where Xiao Xiao wakes up and tells him not to worry. Still, her health continues to worsen, as the next day her nose bleeds again, and Shu Yang realizes that all this is happening to her because she doesn't belong in that time. Since he doesn't want her to suffer anymore, he ends up putting the tape in, and with the camera on, he promises to find her in the future and confess again how much he likes her. Having said that, Xiao Xiao travels in time again and wakes up a day before the party. So she thinks it has all been a dream until she notices that some things are similar to the other party and goes looking for Shu Yang. But no one knows anything about him. Sad, she goes to cry on a beach where, to her surprise, she ends up meeting Shu Yang, who reminds her that the time she kissed him, she told him he could return the kiss. So, happy, he places his lips on hers and shows her how much he missed her, thus ending the story.